Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, welcome. My name's Braden Timmons, and with The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It finally being in theaters and streaming on HBO Max, it's time to stop and rank all 8 Conjuring films from the worst to the best. I literally cannot believe that there are 8 Conjuring movies, guys. The first Conjuring movie, the first one, came out in 2013. It's not even 10 years later yet, and we have 8 of these films. Now, of course, most of them being spin-offs, and we only have 3 of the mainstream Conjuring movies, but still, 8 Conjuring-based films is absolutely crazy. Just how crazy this series has been able to just turn into an entire universe since that very first film came out. And of course, we have some that are going to be worse than the others, so that's what we're here to do. And I also just want to say that this is my personal opinion, so there's no reason to hate on my opinion for having an opinion. You guys are entitled to your opinions as well, and I want you guys to leave your guys' comments in the comment section telling me exactly how you rank the Conjuring universe. Okay, with all that being said, let's get into this ranking. Coming in last place at number 8 is the first Annabelle movie. Now, I don't think that there was anything really to like about the first Annabelle movie other than the one scene with the woman in the basement and the demon was down there. I thought that was really cool, but other than that, this movie is just filled with idiotic characters, idiotic decisions, and just not really, it's really not that scary. It was just super boring. I remember being really hyped to see this movie because the first Conjuring was so good, and this was the first film outside of the Conjuring universe, or outside of the main Conjuring movie that we were getting as a spin-off. And it was just so disappointing. I left the theater, I was incredibly disappointed, and Annabelle just really doesn't do it for me, so Annabelle comes in at number 8. Coming up next at number 7 is The Curse of La Llorona, which is directed by the same director that directed The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, Michael Shaves. I did like the direction in this movie, but this movie really lacked scares, and you can just see every single scare coming a mile away. The characters were okay. I did think that it was a kind of a big slap in the face to the La Llorona lore of having it take place in Los Angeles instead of somewhere in Mexico, since this is like a Mexican urban legend or a Mexican tale. I think that it would have just made more sense if they actually tried to stick to the lore a little bit more. And the jump scares didn't really do it for me. The characters were okay. But it really is the fact that this just kind of like was targeting that one family in Los Angeles, and I just feel like that if they would have actually stuck to the lore a little bit more and tried a little bit harder to make it more of a La Llorona story, then it could have been a lot better. So The Curse of La Llorona comes in at number 7. Coming in at number 6 for me is Annabelle Comes Home, which takes place mostly in the Warrens' house. This movie actually had potential to do a lot better than it did in terms of scares, because this movie was shot mostly inside the Warrens' house, and when you shoot inside of a house, it forces filmmakers to get creative as to what they can do. And ultimately, I just left incredibly disappointed, not only because it was the third Annabelle movie, and I did actually have high expectations going into it because I like Annabelle Creation so much. So I was like, okay, like maybe another Annabelle movie could actually work. It didn't, because literally every single sequence in Annabelle Comes Home that's going to scare you is not only showcased in the trailer, every sequence literally is just building up to a jump scare. And you can see them coming, again, from a mile away. It's like these movies just, they don't really care. They're not really interested in making that great of a film, whereas getting a return on their investment, which is just so frustrating. I wish studios put more love and care into these, because these movies could be really freaking awesome. Again, not to say that Annabelle Comes Home is not a good-looking movie. Every single Conjuring movie is a damn good-looking film. The directors that are behind it, whether it be James Wan, Michael Shaves, whoever's directing these, are doing a damn good job behind the camera. It's really these scripts that really make this franchise so damn frustrating. So Annabelle Comes Home is number 6. Bringing us into the top 5 is The Nun. The Nun, I actually thought had some effective scares. There's a reason that it's higher on the list. While it's not perfect, I actually think that The Nun has a lot of redeeming elements to it. I really like the story. There's the woman who has yet to make her vows that's investigating the death of a nun there with a priest. I like the whole investigation element. The thing that downgraded The Nun for me was obviously the fact that we didn't see the nun all that much. She's hardly in the movie, and when she is, again, yes, you can see these things coming from a mile away. You can see the scares coming from a mile away, but the redeeming element for The Nun for me is really that ending. The ending of how it connected all back to that first case that was explained in the very first Conjuring movie. I thought that that was a really great way to end it. I liked how his character actually had something to do within the movie instead of just be a side character or something. Really, really like that ending, so The Nun comes in at number 5. Bringing us up to number 4 is The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. So like I said in my review, guys, I did not think that The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It was a bad Conjuring film in the slightest. I just don't think that it was as scary as the other films. I think that the next 3 are actually some of the scariest films that I've seen in the movie theater over the course of the last 10 years because they actually work. The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It was just, I feel like it had the Warrens going all over the place, whereas the first couple had it very condensed. It was very tightly paced. Like, you can build relationships and connect with the families that they were helping. This time around, I didn't really feel that. And while Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga are absolutely great as the Warrens in this movie, I just feel like that this one was a major downgrade from the first 2 Conjuring films. So that's number 4. Coming in at number 3 is Annabelle Creation, which is directed by David F. Sandberg. And I loved Annabelle Creation, mostly because it was so goddamn surprising, especially after that first Annabelle movie from 2014. I was really nervous about seeing Annabelle 2 because I was just like, well, the first one wasn't that great, so why the hell are we getting a second one? And David F. Sandberg, what he was able to do, he actually, like James Wan, knows how to build really good jump scares. And I think a lot of that has to do because he made horror shorts on YouTube for the longest time, and he also directed a really good horror film, Lights Out, in 2016, and then this came out a year later in 2017. I think that he knows how to build really effective jump scares. He really likes the tension. He really likes to get you on the edge of your seat. Annabelle Creation is filled with that, and the characters are actually all really likable. And I do like how, while the first Annabelle movie kind of sucked, or not kind of, it did suck, I do like how Annabelle Creation does tie back into that first Annabelle movie. I think that that's really clever, and I just think that it's a really damn effective horror movie, so Annabelle Creation comes in at number 3. Bringing us up to number 2 is The Conjuring 2013. Love this movie. I think that it is a great, great, great horror movie. James Wan is absolutely great behind the camera. The scares are really good. Bathsheba is actually a really, really damn good antagonist because she is an absolutely terrifying looking witch. The jump scare of her on top of that wardrobe is always going to be burned into my mind, as the first time I saw it, like, I literally jumped out of my seat. Literally, guys, The Conjuring has so many things to love about it. And I wish that the first one, because normally it's shocking if I like a sequel more than I do the first one, but The Conjuring is still really good. I don't want anybody to think I don't like The Conjuring. I have no complaints about it because the tension is there, everything about it, the scares, the direction, the characters, all that, but I gotta say it's not as effective as number 1, and that is The Conjuring 2. The Conjuring 2 is still my absolute favorite Conjuring movie, man. I don't know what it is about it. I just think that maybe coming back for another one, James Wan even did better directing the second one. I mean, he directs both of them really well, but I think that the second one is absolutely just mesmerizing in terms of the direction. I also really like the blue color that the movie seems to have. I'm not sure as to why, but I also like the family that the Warrens are helping. I mean, Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga are honestly, I'd say, the best in the entire Conjuring mainstream trilogy in The Conjuring 2 than they are in any of the other movies. Really think that The Conjuring 2 has some of the best scares. It also introduced us to the nun, Valak, who was later on added based on what James Wan suggested, and it was such a damn good suggestion too, because it was just really well done. And I mean, The Conjuring 2 is still my absolute favorite. It's the best time I think that I had with a horror film at the theater over the course of the last couple of years, or since 2016. I just remember seeing that movie. It was so memorable. I just thought everything about it is excellent, and The Conjuring 2 comes in at number 1. So with all that being said, guys, post your guys' comments down below. Let me know, how do you guys rank the Conjuring universe? Really curious about your thoughts there, guys, so be sure to leave comments in the comment section. I'd absolutely love to read them, and as always, if you guys like this, don't forget to join me on my journey to 5,000 subscribers, and I will see you guys in my next video.